Also, she made sure she found a fancy bed to sleep in. She figured that shit out.
Fanciest.
She figured out how to bathe. Totally would do that. I'm also with her on like, I would like to eat in the fancy restaurant with the fountain.
Especially in New York City.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast where we remember, revisit, and sometimes relearn, and today reread all kinds of things from being 80s kids and 90s teens. My name is Dani.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie.
And today it is the next installment in our Xennial Girl Summer book club.
Yes.
So I hope that some of you have read this book with us and are ready to hear all about it. If you haven't, go do that before you listen to the episode because there'll be spoilers aplenty.
Left and right. We're just going to spoil this book.
Spoil this book that's been out since like the 60s. But
correct.
Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite books from when I was a kid. I can't even tell you how many times I read this book. And it is from the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankweiler. Fun fact, I have said that word wrong. I said Basil E. Frankweiler for all these years until recently, so I will probably mess that up. Also, I messed up her last name. The author's name is E.L. Koningsberg, and I thought it was E.L. Koningsberg. Like I just respelled her whole last name. Like
Koningsberg.
It's Koningsberg. Okay. Konigs Berg, B-U-R-G. I thought it was. Well, I don't know. It's wrong. I realized as I was typing, I'm spelling it the way I thought it was in my brain. And I was like, Dani, you are mislabeling all kinds of people in this genre. So have you read this book before now?
No, I've never read it.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how you missed it. That and Ramona?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I missed it. I think I was trying to read Sweet Valley Twins.
And your kids never read it either?
Not that I'm aware of. I guess maybe there's a chance they read it at school that I didn't know of.
Like
but
one Tegan would get her hands on.
Yeah. I'm going to have her read it.
I'm
going to have to borrow. I'm going to have to borrow yours.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think where to start. So let's start with the summary then.
Okay.
Did you finish the book?
I finished the book.
Okay. Katie was like, last night after rehearsal, she's like, I got 25 minutes left on the audiobook. And I mean, it's not a very long book, but it was longer than Ramona.
It was. I think the audio was 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So you listened to it?
I did.
So I did half and half. I started off listening to it because I was running out of time. And then I was like, this isn't the same. Like for me, it was just like Ramona. I was like, I want it to be the same as when I read it as a kid and also read to my kids because of course I read all my favorite books to my kids and they both remembered it. Like,
wow.
I asked Caden, I was like, you remember this book? And he's like, oh yeah, about the kids in the museum. And I was like, oh, yes.
Yes, that's the one.
And it's always for people who aren't parents, or maybe your kids are super tiny and you haven't got to the stage yet. It was one of the joys of parenting for me to introduce my kids to my favorite childhood books. And then like my favorite thing was reading like the Shel Silverstein poems and books and then Harry Potter. Now, I obviously was not a child when this came out, but when it was time for Harry Potter series, because I read those as an adult.
Right.
So they were still so fresh. I couldn't wait. And I was like, if my kids do not love this series like I did, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I do not know how I'm going to handle it. I was fine if they didn't like Ramona. Most of the time they did. Like, I remember one of my kids loved when we talked about Beverly Cleary, we talked about the Ralph S. Mouse series.
Yes.
One of them loved that series. And one of them was kind of like, whatever. Caden loved anything that somebody would read to him. He didn't care what it was. Like, he was just like, read me all the things. Aww. He was like a one more chapter, please kind of kid.
Oh, that's so cute.
So like bedtime took a long time because I'm a huge reader and I would get so excited. And if you'd be like, one more, I'd be like, okay, all right. But when Troy would go in to read, they wouldn't ask him for more because it's not the same. But it was mostly me.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So should we talk about it and then you tell me what you think about it?
Yeah. And I mean, it may come up as we're talking about it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me give you the summary first. Here it is. When Claudia decided to run away, she planned very carefully. She would be gone just long enough to teach her parents a lesson and Claudia appreciation. And she would go in comfort. She would live at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. She saved her money and she invited her brother Jamie to go, mostly because he was a miser and would have money. Claudia was a good organizer and Jamie had some ideas too. So the two took up residence at the museum right on schedule. But once the fun of settling in was over, Claudia had two unexpected problems. She felt just the same and she wanted to feel different. And she found a statue at the museum so beautiful she could not go home until she discovered its maker, a question that baffled the experts too. The former owner of the statue was Miss Basil E. Frankweiler. Without her, Claudia might never have found a way to go home.
Hmm.
I loved
Yep.
that summary.
That's a really good summary.
I know. I didn't
Yeah.
write it, guys. It's from the interwebs.
The interwebs.
This book was written by E.L. Koningsberg, and it was published in 1967.
Wow.
Yeah. It is like super well known, super well beloved, even to this day. It won the Newbery Medal in 1968. And in 2021, it was voted by Time magazine as the best YA novel of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say a YA novel, like on the younger end.
I think so too. Yeah, because it doesn't really delve into what we would consider maybe those angsty things.
Yeah. It's
But it
definitely.
does deal with like independence
Uh-huh.
and identity and all of that and curiosity, obviously.
Yeah. Like the
So,
preteen, like Claudia's 12, just turned 12, 11, 10, 11, 12, I think is like 10, 11, 9, because Jamie's 9.
right.
The brother's
And
9.
she's older. Yeah.
And it's such a fun book. It's just the way that she writes is very similar to how like Judy Blume, Beverly Cleary, it's so in touch with kids and also in a way that even if you're an adult reading it, it's still funny
Yeah.
and like you understand the character's point of view. So before we talk about the book, let's talk about the author for a second. So E.L. Koningsberg is really Elaine Lobel Koningsberg. She was born February 10th, 1930.
Oh.
I know. And she died April 19th, 2013.
Okay.
She was born in New York, but she grew up in a small Pennsylvania town, and she was the second born of 3 daughters. So she was a middle child, which might explain why,
Yeah.
that she was good at writing about running away and all the things.
Yes.
She was an avid reader her whole life, although, and in her family, she said that reading was only tolerated and not sanctioned, like dusting furniture or baking cookies. Because you got to think of the time she was growing up.
Yeah, the 1930s. I mean, there was probably more to worry about. Reading was and still is considered leisure, even though we know it's like way better for us in our brains than other types of leisure. But I could see like how maybe it was considered not a priority.
Well, and not seen as something women should be doing.
Yeah, I guess that's
I mean,
true
there
too.
was not a lot of
Well, where
investing in
did she
women's
grow
learning.
up?
She
I'm
grew up
just curious.
in Pennsylvania, small
Oh,
town in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah. So she graduated high school valedictorian
All
in
right.
Farrell, Pennsylvania. And to earn money for college, she actually worked as a bookkeeper at a meat plant.
Oh,
And that is where she met her future husband, David Koningsberg, and he was the brother of one of the owners. So I just thought that was cute how they met.
mhm.
She actually entered the Carnegie Institute of Technology, which is now Carnegie Mellon, in Pittsburgh, and she majored in chemistry
Oh,
because she said she was good at it. And she was told the purpose of college was to become something like a librarian, a teacher, or a chemist. So her artistic side, she said, was essentially dormant during those years,
hmm.
which is really sad. But we can all relate to that happening
Sure.
because you
Yeah.
have other things you have to do and you feel like you don't have time for that, which I think is what she felt. So she graduated in 1952, and she was actually the first person in her family to earn a degree, which is pretty cool. As she got married to David, and he was a grad student in psychology, so they're smart cookies.
Yeah.
Chemistry and psychology. He was a grad student, and she started grad school in chemistry, which is crazy, at the University of Pittsburgh for 2 years. But then when he graduated, they moved to Jacksonville, Florida, after he got his doctorate. So that's kind of sad because she was doing school and then,
It was kind of like, well,
but it happens.
and I'm sure it was harder back then too to like switch schools in the middle of what you were doing
Yeah.
and still get your credits and you know what I mean?
Oh,
You
yeah.
probably essentially have to like start over on that
Right.
particular degree.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows? We don't know.
And then, again, societal expectations was once you were married,
Mm-hmm.
You were expected to be the one to stay home, take care of the kids, take care of the house. That's just how it was, and I hate that, but, But she actually worked once they moved. She worked as a science teacher at the Bartram School for Girls until 1955, and that's when she had her first kid.
Okay.
And, she had 3 kids, actually, Paul, Lori, and Ross, which
Ross. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
So she was working, she was teaching, she had her first baby, so she stayed home to take care of them. But after she had 2 kids, before she had her third, she began starting taking a painting class at an adult education place. Where like you can like community centers where they
Mhm.
have adult classes. So she started doing that, which is amazing. Um, in 1962, her and her family moved to Port Chester in Greater New York, and she just continued taking art lessons while she was there. She was like, "Wait a minute, I like this. I want to keep going." And once she had her third baby, and that third child started school in the mornings after they all went to school, she started writing every morning.
Ah, I love it.
Yeah. So not only was she doing art classes, she also started writing. And I love that she found ways to fit it in, even amidst being the stay at home parent and the
Mhm.
mom and doing all the things, especially during this time where, men weren't expected to help with anything at home. So,
Right.
which is bullshit, but that's fine. So, her first children's novel that she wrote was titled Jennifer. Okay, you're going to have to tell me how to say this word before I say title. Hecate.
Say it again. H-E-C-A-T-E.
Cate. I know that's a famous literary figure. I don't know, remember if that's Shakespeare or not,
Yeah,
or
maybe.
something. People out there are laughing at us that know history, and they're
Yeah.
like, duh. Anyway, it's
Checking something.
okay. She gonna check it. Uh oh, what's wrong?
I don't know. This is making me like. I'll just make a note to, but like, what's
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Oh,
It was just freaking me out. And normally, don't we have like that bar that tells
yeah.
how loud we are?
Oh, fart.
But remember, they just
Oh,
changed
but click on
stuff.
the microphone at the end, at the bottom, and remember that's how it looked. We found it the last time. Yep. See, we're
It
good.
is. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. So, okay, we're still good. I just wanted to be sure. I was like,
Oh
oh my God, are we
God.
somehow muted? But we're not. We're not. We're not.
Now
We're
we're
not.
panicked.
We're good. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll make a note to take that out. Don't worry.
Okay.
So
All right.
ask
So,
me again about the name because I was a little distracted trying to figure out
all
if you
right.
were muted.
So, how do you pronounce Hecate?
Hechat?
Hecate.
Cate.
Hecate?
Hecate?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what we're gonna go with. I don't know what that
Sure,
is. I
let's
don't know
do
what
it.
it is. Okay, so her first kids novel was titled Jennifer, Hecate, Macbeth, William McKinley, and Me, Elizabeth. Very
Aw.
long title. It was actually inspired by her daughter Lori's experience as the new girl in Port Chester when they moved. So
Hmm.
she wrote a whole little story about it, and it was published in 1967. Okay, that same year is the year that this book from the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankweiler came out.
Okay.
So she had her first 2 books published in the same year.
Dang.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So both kids' books, obviously. She's actually one of 7 authors to win 2 Newbery medals.
Wow.
I know. She got 1 for this book in 1968, so the next year after it came out, and another for the book A View from Saturday, which came out in 1997.
What's it called? A View?
A View from Saturday.
Okay. I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah. And she's the only author to have one work win the Newbery Medal the same year as another book of hers is the runner-up. And it was her first 2 books. So from the Mixed Up Files, won the Newbery in 1968, and the runner-up for the winner was Jennifer Hecate, that long title.
Wow. Okay. If I were her, I would have been like, damn, I should have done them different years.
But like, isn't that
I mean, that's
crazy
still pretty
to have
cool.
your 2 works that you've only published?
They're like your first 2
Right.
published.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only have them
Amazing.
nominated and then won, and not only won, but also the other one's the runner-up.
The runner-up.
She's the only author to have that happen.
That's so cool.
Right. So I just thought that was amazing. And she actually found out about her first these books being nominated as they were moving back from Port Chester to Jacksonville.
Okay.
So she somehow, I don't know, she got a phone call somewhere like while she's moving and is probably extremely stressed out. They're like, well, guess what? both your books are on the list. Like,
Dang.
crazy. Can you imagine? Um, so that's kind of fun, and she did write some other chapter books, some YA books, and she illustrated a lot of the stuff. She illustrated the pictures in this book, which you didn't read the print book, so I'll show it to you when we get there. She's also the writer and illustrator of 3 picture books that came out in the 1990s featuring her own grandchildren.
I heard that
Yeah,
on that thing,
they
yeah,
mentioned it
because
on
she
the
mentioned
audiobook.
illustrations, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize she was an illustrator
Well,
as
remember,
well."
she took
But she
art
took that
lessons.
class, yeah,
Yep.
or classes,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Oh,
So those
wow.
picture books are called Samuel Todd's Book of Great Colors, Samuel Todd's Book of Great Inventions, and Amy Elizabeth Explores Bloomingdale's.
That sounds awesome, I wanna read that one.
So obviously you know the name of her grandkids because
Yeah,
there you go.
just right out there.
So a reason I think that a lot of her books remain beloved are for some of the same reasons that Beverly Cleary's do. I'm going to just read you some of the reasons that were listed. So, a lot of her stories feature childhood and adolescent, older end of childhood spectrum, like the struggles that are easy for school age readers to understand. Like Claudia
Mhm.
feels like not noticed. She doesn't feel, she wants to feel different and grown up. Um, Often her characters in all her books are striving to find answers to big questions that kind of help shape their identity,
Right.
which is exactly what Claudia was doing in this
Yes.
book. Many of them she based on her own experiences as a kid, as well as observations she made as a teacher, and the experiences and observations she made with her own kids. So she got that real life inspiration, just like Beverly Cleary and
Mhm.
Judy Blume. Her characters have been described as, I love this description, softly comfortable on the outside and solidly uncomfortable on the inside. And
Mm.
if that ain't adolescence, I don't know.
I love that. So, she means, like, for example, in this story, their home life is fine and they aren't really having any external struggles per se, but the struggle is internal.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
And I
that.
like that because that's, you know, when we talked about Beverly Cleary and kids would come up to her when she was a librarian and they're like, where's the stories about just kids? Like, I don't have any major things happening. Like, where's the stories about us? Like, I'm not a Hardy Boy. I'm not Nancy Drew. Like, where's
Right.
just the normal
I don't
kid
live in a
stories?
boxcar because
Right.
I'm an orphan or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I think she was kind of on the same page for that.
Mhm.
So another interesting thing was when she said when she was teaching at the Bartram School for Girls, she she learned that spoiled young women who had all the creature comforts of the world were just as uncomfortable inside as she was growing up when she
Mm.
didn't have those things. So she has said this: the essential problems remain the same. The kids I write about are asking for the same things that I wanted. They want 2 contradictory things. They want to be the same as everyone else, and they want to be different from everyone else, but they want acceptance for both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about her and her kind of journey. She didn't have like a whole lot of crazy stuff to talk
Mm-mm.
about. I liked her story. I love that she was like a chemist and then became this artist and writer, and she's obviously incredibly intelligent and can do a lot of things. So
Yeah.
you go, girl.
She's awesome.
We're here for you. Okay, so let's get into some things about this book and then we'll talk about our thoughts. And then we have discussion questions in the back of the book, which are fun.
Yay.
So, about this book particularly, one inspiration for this book, which I think you heard about, and they had a little afterword in the audiobook. It's also in the print book, some of the versions. But anyway, one of the inspirations for the book was a one-page story in the New York Times that was published on October 26, 1965. The Metropolitan Museum had purchased a plaster and stucco statue from the Italian Renaissance time period for only $225. Now, even in today's monetary world,
Mhm.
that is not a lot for, well,
W You mean back then
back then is what I meant to say.
it
And
was cheap.
even
Yeah.
it was cheap compared to how much it was probably worth.
Yeah.
And they talk about it in the book. So if you haven't read the book, you should, because you're not going to
Right.
understand a lot of the stuff we're talking about.
Right, because I think it's Jamie in the book, the brother, who's
Right.
like, $225 is a lot of money, and then, Claudia kind of explains,
She's like, yeah.
yeah, but if it's worth 100 times that, then it's not a lot of money, which
Right.
would be the case, really, in general, from a statue of that era, but of course, if it was Michelangelo,
Yeah.
then it's, like, millions and millions of dollars.
Right. You remember that show, American Pickers? Did you ever watch
Yes.
that?
That show's great.
We used to love that show. And then it became very staged and it wasn't very fun
I
anymore.
know. It was more fun when they would just, like, find things, and sometimes they wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's what I liked.
I know.
But now it's like they're always finding something.
And I think one of the guys is like a super problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. We'll come back to that one
Who
day.
knows? Yeah, one day. Not today.
Anyway, another inspiration for this book was Elaine's own children's complaints while they were on vacation at Yellowstone National Park.
Oh my God.
As she said, if they ever ran away, they would certainly never consider any place less elegant than the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Well, there's that part, and I actually thought of you.
I know.
Claudia's thinking of where she wants to run away.
Yeah.
And to herself, she's like, well, it has to be inside.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
No bugs.
No bugs. Has to be comfortable. Has to like have a way to like have a bed, like all the things.
Me. And that's probably why I love this book so much. When I was a kid, I'm like, yeah, girl, that's true. That is yucky. Nobody wants to sleep outside, but yeah, let's run away, but also have all the creature comforts of home. So a few months after her death in 2013, her son Paul told a story at the I keep wanting to say it's Metropolitan, but I keep wanting to say something else. Anyway, Museum of Art. They had a memorial gathering there in her honor, which I just really love.
Oh.
So during the mid 60s, Elaine would attend art classes, like actually at that museum.
That's so cool.
And while she was going to her class, she would just drop off Paul and his siblings to go explore while she was in her class. I mean, it was the 60s, guys.
Yeah,
like, it's fine. It's fine. And after her class, she would find them and then they would go exploring together. And during one such visit, she saw just a single piece of popcorn on the floor next to like this fancy piece of furniture, which was completely blocked off to public access. Like it wasn't like you walked by and dropped it. It was like completely blocked off and there was just one piece of popcorn. And so he said he remembers his mom wondering aloud, like, where did that popcorn come from? Like, how did it get there? And it was in that moment he believes that she solidly formed the complete idea for the book.
Oh, that's so crazy.
I know. I love it.
I love it.
So the author's two younger children, Lori and Ross, who turned 11 and 9 and think of those ages in 1967, they posed for the illustrations of Claudia and Jamie in this book. And I'm going to show you the pictures in a second. And they had a neighbor named Anita who lived in their neighborhood in an apartment. She posed as Miss Frankweiler.
Fun.
So let me see if I can find. So here's here's one of them on the bus. You can just kind of go through and look at the pictures and show people if you want.
I love them on the bus. Yeah.
If you're on the YouTube,
oh yeah, you can kind of
see pictures. So she was a really great artist too.
Yeah, that's really well done.
Yeah. So her kids and her neighbor sat for the illustrations in the book.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Miss Frankweiler doesn't come until the end.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
because they go to her.
Well, actually, I
house
think there's one of her in the
there.
beginning. Let me see.
Okay, look and see, because I was thinking, if you're the neighbor, I don't know, you probably want it to look a certain way.
Well, I mean, she's an older lady. So.
She's an older lady.
Yeah.
I think that's about how I thought she would look.
A crotchety old lady, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I know. So speaking of Miss Frankweiler, the character of Miss Frankweiler was based on headmistress Olga Pratt, who was at the Bartram School for Girls where she once taught. She said this: Miss Pratt was not wealthy, but she was a matter-of-fact person, kind but firm.
Love it.
Bitchy, I think, is what she really wanted to say.
Yeah.
Kind of a bitch, but nice on the inside.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I have to tell you guys is there was 2 film adaptations made of this book. In 1973, Ingrid Bergman starred as Miss Basil E. Frankweiler.
Fun.
In the movie adaptation. That was like a movie. But then they made a made-for-TV movie in 1995 Lauren Bacall was Miss Basil E. Frankweiler.
Okay.
And that's the one I remember. And it stays really true to the book, except for a couple things. I can't remember. I've seen both of these. In one of them, they make Jamie like get really sick. Like he gets a bad cold and he has a fever and stuff. And that's what makes them try to go find Miss Frankweiler. I don't know. But also, the Lauren Bacall movie was renamed The Hideaways. So if you go look for it, it's not called From the Mix-Up Files of Miss Basil E.
Okay.
Frankweiler. It's called The Hideaways. So that's it. That's all my little fun facts for this book.
Okay.
So tell me, did you like it? What did you think?
I did really like it. Yeah, I mean, it's just funny, right? I'm sure you had the same thoughts that, like, this is not ever something that could happen now.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I
With
know.
the cameras and just tracking of people, like, kids literally disappear
Right.
for a couple weeks and
Right.
are, and obviously the money is funny because everything's so inexpensive.
I know.
Like they go with $24 total or something like that. And then they're just sort of stealing change out of the fountain to keep paying for things. I loved how her brother was like so like tight with the money.
I know.
I thought that there was a part in there, I rewound it and listened to it twice, where Claudia says she's glad she picked Jamie because Claudia was cautious about everything but money.
Yes.
And he was cautious about money, but nothing else.
Nothing else.
Like he was an adventurer.
Yeah.
So they were like a good pair. But yeah, I liked it. Honestly, I was going to ask you about a plot point I didn't quite understand.
Oh, okay.
The person she's writing to is their grandfather?
It's her lawyer. Yeah. And that was kind of just like a reveal at the end. She
Okay.
says at the end, like, so a secret they don't know, Saxenberg, is that you've been my lawyer for 40 years. It was just a weird connection. Like they went to her house, but they didn't know.
Okay, so they're not like his long lost grandchildren.
No.
That's what I thought was happening. Like,
no.
Like he's been like looking for them or something. I don't know. I thought too much into it.
No.
So she's explaining the story and then she's like, by the way, I'm talking about your grandkids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And she's like, they don't know. Like she never told them.
Like, hey, I know him.
Yeah. And I think if I remember, she's like, once I die, you can tell, whatever. But like, because she was like, a surprise that they don't know is that you've been my lawyer for 40 years.
Okay. Got it. So, well, I mean, that's good. I guess it's in their best interest that the lawyer's gonna.
Well, and you know what? That's explained at the end. So if you were listening late last night, your brain may have just not fully took it in.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was and I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I did. And I'm like, I've read this book so many times. And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, right. That's their grandpa.
Yeah.
Like, Saxenberg.
And she's kind of mean to him.
Oh, yeah. She's a bitch.
She's like, I would take you because you need culture or like whatever. I don't know. It was just like, I was like, is this her husband? But it's her lawyer.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow. But maybe that's just how she interacted with the world because
sounds like it.
Being smart and wealthy and kind of on her own.
Yeah.
And not caring.
Right.
Okay.
But I did love at the end how they were like, oh, we can be her grandkids. And they're like, she's going to be the first person to be a grandmother without ever being a mother first.
That was so cute.
I was like, oh.
That was so cute. I loved that.
Okay, so you liked this book.
I did like it. I liked it a lot. And I think you're right. I think my youngest would really like it.
It's just something that's fun to reread is that piece of, this could never happen. I mean, first of all, security cameras. Like, hello. I mean, when did that start being a thing where security, like the 80s, where we had the technology?
I feel like museums might have had a low level of that, but I think what was saving them, because did they mention it? Maybe they didn't, but that there may have been some external ones, but as long as they weren't leaving, because they say something about how the museum is protected against burglars coming from the outside.
Well, because they have the guards.
Okay, so maybe that's what they meant.
They have the guards, and they even had a night guard.
But if you're already in there, they don't see you coming or going, and then they would only leave or come when it was open.
Right.
So, I don't know. But
that's
yeah,
just
I'm sure by like the mid-70s, there was something in place for museums.
Yeah. And did you hear them saying, like, in the story, it's like, oh yeah, security like upped at the museum after that. It happened in real life too after this book came out.
Really?
Because all these kids and like the attendance at the museum went up greatly too. After this book was published.
That's so
and won
cool.
the Newbery.
And she said it's not free anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Which nothing is. Actually, most of the DC museums are still free.
Yeah. Almost all of them are. And I know like in big cities, and I'm sure New York's the same, they do have like certain days and times that things are free.
Yeah.
It's just not like all the time access except for like the Smithsonian's and that in DC. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I loved this book. Okay, first of all, I already said one of the reasons I love this book so much is because I also would be like Claudia if I wanted to run away. I remember one time when I was a kid, I was like being dramatic. And I don't know why I was being dramatic. I was like, "I'm running away." Packed myself a little bag. And my mom, no, like, parents be like,
Yeah.
"This girl." She
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, like, you can run away, but, like, see you
Yeah.
later." And, like, I was pissed. I was like, "Nobody is making a big deal that I'm about to run away. How dare."
Yeah.
Like, they did not care. And so I'm, like, walking down the street. I'm, like, halfway down the street, and then I'm like, "It's really hot."
Right?
And then I was like, "Wait a minute. Where am I actually going? Like, where am
Yeah.
I going to?" Um, okay. And I, like, had to, like, go back home.
Right, because they knew. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I ever did that. I know a couple of my kids have done that on occasion, and they get not far at all. The one thing I wondered, and I'll see what you think. So they choose this specific museum that's a real
Uh-huh.
museum that has, like, so many things. There really wasn't that much talk of what's in the museum. A little bit.
Well, they did because they went around and they were learning. Remember all the things. So they
They
talked about
were,
that.
but even then it just felt like, I don't know, like, I would have written about way more stuff in the museum.
But that really wasn't what the story was.
Right, but then if you pick a real place, you see what I'm saying? Like, it could have been a made-up museum, and then that would have made sense, but since it's a real place, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just kind of felt like I would have written about so many more things.
But I don't think kids won't care.
And
Like,
that might be true.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, as a grown-up book, sure.
Yeah.
But when you're writing for 9, 10, 11-year-olds,
Yeah.
I think it was just enough to be like, "Oh, we went to the mummies and the sarcophagus, and then we learned about this, and then we figured out this." I feel like she did a good job throwing in, and maybe just because I've read it so many times, like, and there's a map in the front of the
Oh,
museum,
fun. Oh.
or maybe it's on the back, and I feel like it was just enough, especially for me as a kid. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool." And I could visualize it just enough, but the main point of the story was what they were doing there.
True.
And then when their focus shifted to the statue,
Mhm.
that's all they could think about.
Right. That was their main focus. They
And
weren't trying
right.
to see everything
And
else.
she even says that, "Well, what if we stopped learning about everything and just focused on learning about this one piece?"
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
That's
and
true.
I mean, this book is what, 100 and something, 160 something
Right.
pages.
I mean, I guess that's part of it too, because it's for younger audiences anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true.
It's hard. I mean, like, you got to think about, like, reading it as a kid. Like, you're probably not going to want to dive deep in it's like the Magic Treehouse books.
Yeah.
I feel like they throw in just enough history.
That's a good comparison because it's like they're missing a lot.
Right.
But the point is to get you intrigued enough to
That.
learn a few things about whatever the topic is.
Yeah.
And then maybe you go on your own and learn more. Or even
Right.
if you don't, at least you learn something about whatever that real life thing was.
Yeah.
Jack and Annie, Magic
Jack and
Treehouse.
Annie.
I did
Let me
really
see if I remember
like,
the map.
and I've been thinking about it a lot actually since the first time I, a few days ago heard it read in the book, when Claudia is really struggling with not feeling different.
Oh, yeah.
How the thing she planned out and
Yes.
this like sort of romanticized
Yeah.
isn't making her feel the way she expected.
Yeah.
And boy, that's a kid thing for sure. I remember feeling like that
Oh,
a
yeah.
kid a lot. But adults too.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
yeah.
like as cliched as like it's about the journey, not the destination, right? But that is kind of true because you try to accomplish something or
Yeah.
get somewhere, and it's not that that thing doesn't make you happy, but you're kind of like, well, I'm exactly the
You're like,
same.
this is it? You know what I compare it to too is like your wedding. Like, there's all this buildup, even if you don't have a big wedding. Like, we got married in Vegas, but still, there's all this buildup
Mm-hmm.
to getting married. And then you get married and it's like, okay, we're still the same.
Yeah.
Like,
We're just
that's-
like we were yesterday, but there was like a party that
Right.
we had. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what, and it's like, why I don't feel any different. It's like, or turning 21.
Right.
You're like, okay, I can go
Right.
legally drink now, but
Mhm.
I'm still feel exactly the same as I
Yeah.
did when I was 20.
It is like that. And I did like how, at least in this book, that made Claudia say, well, that's because I must not have done the thing yet that this journey is about, right? So, which, in real life, yes, that can be the case, that there's more, or it could just be like you're just the same and no experience that you have is necessarily going to change you.
Yeah.
It's the things that like you aren't planning that change you, right?
Right.
Like the people you meet or the experiences you have along the route. But I did think that was cool because that also made them sort of shift their focus too, right? Like, okay, we've done the thing. we successfully ran away. We're taking care of ourselves
Yep.
in New York City. But at least, I mean, I don't think Jamie cared that much. He was having a grand old time.
He was just there for the party,
But
guys.
Claudia was bothered by that.
Yeah.
Like, why don't I feel like a different person or whatever,
Yeah.
however I felt like I was supposed to feel?
I think because she's also at that age, she's 12, where you want everything to just be a big deal.
That.
Everything is just to be a big deal. And it's like, why is this not a big deal? Like, what do you mean? Like, and I think that's why she was so drawn to the statue. It's because she's like, this is it. This could be the big deal. Solving this mystery is going to change me forever. And I'm going to, whatever. Like, that's going to be why we did this. You know, this is going to make me different, Claudia. Like, yeah. Okay. Well, let's
discussion questions.
Discussion.
Let's do it.
I mean, these are for young kids.
I still think they're fun. I was thinking about that when we did it for the last
for Ramona.
book. Yeah.
Okay. They also had the fun thing is too, they also had activities.
Cute.
Okay, wait. I want to show you the map. It says it's in chapter 4. Hold on.
Okay.
Chapter 4 has the map. So I want to show you because I wonder how different it is
today.
Yeah, I should have thought about that. And look, that's them naked in the fountain. You can't see nothing.
Oh, that's funny. Next to
you
all the
guys.
like naked statues.
This picture always made me crack up when I was a kid.
Yeah. Because like which one's them and which one's a statue?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Let me find the map, guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, she did say in that like updated forward or whatever it was that she said the parts of the museum that had changed. Okay. Yeah.
We can't read that. We need reading glasses, but
yeah.
It's the main floor and the second floor, which when I was a kid reading this book, I would go back to this map to see where they were. Like, oh, that's where they spent the night. Oh, yeah. When they were on the field trip, they were in the Egyptian art place. Oh, where's the bathrooms? That's where they were, you know, like the fountain.
Honestly, if I had been like reading it and not listening to it, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Even as an adult.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, well, where is this in comparison to like what they're talking about?
Yeah. It's
a good addition.
Yeah. So I actually have, so fun fact, guys, let me do a little sidetrack story. Remember I told you on a past episode when I went to get these books for the summer reading from Thrift Books, they sent me the wrong book for this. They sent me that Walt Whitman. Did I bring it in?
On Leaves of Grass.
Did I give it to you?
No, I would
Okay, I think it's in my bag.
Have it.
They gave me this like Walt Whitman like Hallmark gift book. And I was like, I emailed them. I was like, bitch, this is wrong. I didn't say that, but
not it.
They're like, oh my gosh, sorry, we'll send you the correct book. So they did. I got it like a few days later. And then last week I go to the mailbox and Cooper's like, what else did you order from Thrift Books? And I'm like, is that the correct book that finally got here way later? Sure enough. So now I have 2 of these.
Oh,
so I'll bring you one.
Please.
If you want to give it to Tegan to read.
Say. Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump in. Claudia and Jamie make a good team, but they are very different people. As a result, they sometimes disagree about what's important and what they should do on their adventure. What are some specific examples from the adventure that show how Claudia and Jamie are different people with different opinions?
Transportation is a big one.
Yes.
She's always wanting a taxi is like her first go-to. And when that's a no, it's a bus.
Yes.
And then pretty much they still walk everywhere.
Right. Okay. So fun fact that I will share. My friend Amber and I go on a trip together every year. We try to, and we go somewhere different. And we're alike, but also different in things. I am like I am like Jamie. I'm like, we can just walk everywhere. Like, especially we're in New York. She's like, let's get a cab or DC or like a big city. And she's like, let's just get, and I'm like, no, we got to walk. And she's like, it's like 16 blocks. I'm like, it's fine. Like, let's go. Raining. Now if it's raining, fuck that. I'm getting underneath a cover. I will walk in the cold, but I will not walk in the rain. But I'm like, yeah, Jamie, more power to you.
Yeah.
You better walk on.
And they're kids. They can do it.
Oh, yeah. They've got
kids.
joint problems
but
like
then,
we do.
But then they take a taxi to her house.
Well, they have to. Because it's far. She lives like out.
Yeah.
She don't live in the city.
That's true. And so now they're out of money.
Right. Because they can't walk there. It's too far.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I loved too how she wants to spend money on food.
Yeah.
And he does not. That is my husband too. I be like, you know, I do really like, we don't eat out a whole lot. Like I would say he does not believe me when I'm like, compared to the normal American family, we very rarely spend money outside of our house for food.
Mhm.
Caden does. My 19-year-old does because that's his money.
But what they do with their own money is
Yeah,
fine.
whatever. But like as a unit, we very rarely order takeout, go like it's not a common thing. I try to eat at home as much as possible, but if there's ever an excuse to not eat at home, I will take it and run with it. And my kids know to ask me, be like, "Mom, can we go like get food, whatever?" They do not ask my husband because he'll be like, he's the parent that's like, "We got food at home."
Yeah. My husband's the same way.
Yeah.
Like if you pick them up from like a night practice or
yes,
rehearsal,
that.
immediately it's like Taco Bell, drive through, whatever, and he'll be like, "We have food at home."
Yeah.
Now my thing with that, particularly if I'm also busy or doing the things, is I'll be like, I might give the exception because I'll be like, but then I have to facilitate that food.
Oh, right.
So late night is harder. Like if it's during the day
I don't,
or
I
normal
don't
meal
like to do late night because I
time.
want to go home.
Right. Well, that too.
I want to go home.
But sometimes I'll just be like, in my brain, do I take an extra 5 minutes and go through this drive-through, or do I take 35 minutes plus cleaning up when I get home to make all this stuff? Granted, my kids are very capable and can make their own things,
but I know what you mean. Yeah.
I won't feel like I can like relax until people have been fed and cleaned up and all that stuff. So that's kind of, but same thing. My husband's always like, well, we have food at home. And I will sometimes be like what? What are we making? Like,
I mean, and
give an example.
Yeah.
You know,
to be fair, we usually do have plenty of food at home.
Yeah.
Like I go to the grocery, I meal plan, I go on Mondays, like we do. But also, if there's ever an opportunity for socializing with food, I will jump on it.
Oh, definitely.
Like Katie can, like anytime we've done a show or something, people are like, "Oh, let's go out." I'll be like, "Yes, yes." And I it doesn't matter how tired I am. If there is socialize, well, let me put it and the right people are there.
Yes,
then I want to go. And my kids know this. And when my oldest played competitive baseball, every weekend we were some fucking place, and the families in between games are going to be like, "Oh, we're all going to go eat." My husband would hate that. He'd be like, "I do not want to go like with all these people." And granted, some of them were annoying, but I was like, "Oh, well, let's go. Like, that's fun. Like,
that's fun. Yay.
And the kids love it."
Yeah.
And so Kaden always knew because sometimes, because Cooper was so little during that time, we wouldn't always both go to all the things.
Mhm.
So if it was just me, Kaden knew we were going to the team lunches,
going
and
to the team meals.
Like,
that's right.
And two, it was such a pain, because you have kids that do sports that travel. Like when you have to pack food for an entire fucking day, it's exhausting. And sometimes I just do not want to do it.
Same.
It takes an hour.
You have to plan, like, you have to know what you can even access in your hotel as far as like a fridge or a microwave or a.
Well, now we didn't have to do a lot of hotel stays, thankfully. It was a lot of just driving.
It was just there and back. Okay.
Well, I mean, it would be like 2 hours there, 2 hours home.
Gotcha.
But it did not. Some people would stay, but we couldn't validate that expense.
Yeah.
It was just too expensive.
Yeah.
But it was drivable. But still, you get up at 5 a.m., drive 2 hours, you're there all day, you drive 2 hours home, you go back the next day.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a grind.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what else? How else are they different? I'm trying to think. The money, I think he also, like you said, he was just in it for a good time.
Yeah. He didn't need like a deeper meaning.
No.
He, even like bathing, like he was like, I'm good if I don't take a bath. And she's like, no, we need to take a bath, or we need to do the laundry. But he was just kind of like, whatever about it. Yeah. I think those are like the main ones. They had kind of differences and things that would really get her riled up. He would be like, well, who cares, Yeah.
And I think that's a good partnership.
It is.
You gotta have opposing. You have to have just enough to keep you on the same page, but you got to have enough to balance each other out. I think about that with my marriage all the time because we are very different, but the main important things we are on the same page at.
Right.
Yes. Y'all are the same.
Yeah.
Like, but I am like up here all the time and Troy is pretty level headed. So like if we were both here or we're both here, it would not work.
It's true. Yeah. And I think, as much as I don't like being told what to do, sometimes when I have a really crazy idea, it's good to have someone who's either like, no, or like, well, but what about this, this, and this? Yeah. And then I'm like, well, we'll just worry about that later or whatever, and it's like, no, because if we worry about it later, it's going to be a disaster. So, like, so you have to have kind of the both. And I feel like Claudia was kind of the dreamer and he was a little more of the like practical side. But I also like that he was a gambler
I know,
and
I
cheated
love
at
that.
gambling.
It's hilarious.
I thought that was really, really funny.
It's so funny.
I had thought of a part, I don't remember now, when we were just talking about it that I wanted to say, but I don't. Oh, when they get to her house and she's like, are you the 2 children that have been missing? And oh yeah, your parents were worried about you. And Claudia's like, well, we sent them a letter and told them not to worry.
Like, what's the big deal?
I can't believe they were. Why? We told them we're okay. It was just so funny.
Oh my God, I know. Like, are you kidding me? And like, I was thinking about that too, like panicked. Okay, so the other day, a couple of days ago, I had a client in the morning and then I had to run a bunch of errands. And then when I came home, it was like 2:00 and Cooper was not there. And I was like, that's my 13-year-old. I'm like, where the fuck is he? Well, our internet was down that day too. So my phone wasn't working well. And like something was going on with the tower. And so I can't track him. He's not answering his phone.
Yikes.
I'm panicking. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're not allowed to leave the house without telling me where you're going. Period. Dot. You're 13 years old. Like, you can't just leave. Like, that's insane. And then I can't track him. So, and I can't. Troy's not reachable. My husband's not reachable at work all the time because of security clearance. He can check his phone periodically during the day when he goes out of the whatever. So thankfully, he had just happened to be on his lunch break or potty break or something. And I was like, I can't find Cooper. And so he's like, hold on. So his phone was working. And he said, looks like he's at the pickleball courts in the neighborhood. And I was pissed. So I drive over there, tear over there. He's just out there playing with a friend, which is fine. But I was like, you can't leave the house at 13 and not tell anybody that you're gone.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy. And I said, he's like, I told you. And so then he's lying. And he's like, I told you yesterday. I said, no, you didn't. And I said, and even if you did, when I'm not home, you better text me and say, I'm leaving now.
Right.
I'll be back.
Right.
I'll be at this park. Even if you told me, you still didn't do what you were supposed to do. Oh, I was so mad. But I thought about that because I'm like, that was just like for a couple hours.
Right.
They're gone. For like,
and there back then, literally no way to track them.
No. And I was panicked. I was terrified. That's the worst feeling. We've all been there.
I had an even shorter version of that just when we were at Disney over the weekend.
Oh God, that's the worst place too.
Lots of kids and parents and stuff. So my own kid, the short version is I lost her for a moment at the hotel.
Oh God.
So she was at the pool with the friends and other parents were there. And I went back to the room and she didn't have her bathing suit with her. So she said, can you just bring it back with you? So I did. Meanwhile, my husband shows up to like take her home because he needed to. But anyway, so he's at the room with us and my other daughter. So we start walking back to the pool. We get to the pool. So it's the path from our room to the pool. And she's not there. And they're like, she went back to the room. And we're like, we were just at the room. So I figured there's obviously some logical thing. Well, sure enough, she had got tired of waiting for us to bring the bathing suit and by herself.
Oh, God. And those hotels
started to walk back and went to the wrong building.
Yeah. Yep.
And realized it and came back to the main path. And right then I was walking back and she saw me. But I was just like, I told you I was coming. She's like, I know. I was just going to try to catch you guys so I could get my bathing suit faster, but I went to the wrong building and it was just like so panic inducing.
Yeah, it's a panic
I was
feeling.
like, and it's funny because it was like basically the night before, like we were done with all our events and I'd been so like, remember children and parents, no kid is by themselves at any point. They do not go to, like, they can go to the bathroom, but you're standing outside it, you know, like no child is ever by themselves. And of course we actually have a couple teens who are like adults, but even then I'm like, you have to be with someone else.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be by yourself. So it was just like panic for like 5 minutes. And then of course all the parents by the pool are like, oh my God, where's Tegan?
Right.
You know, because they're panicked now.
Right.
But she just like, where's my bathing suit? I want to swim. And I'm like, oh my God.
And so like,
child.
Yeah. So they're gone. Write a letter.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Panic.
They just, oh, can you imagine? And I mean,
no.
You know, as adults, we know this and also what we know even of that time period of what happened with like criminals and kidnappers and serial killers and that sort of thing. Like, you know, you can write a letter that's your handwriting that you wrote under duress.
Of course.
Like, we know that. And adults know that. But
I know.
To kids, it's
they
like,
don't know that.
well, I told you not to worry.
I know.
I sent you a letter.
Like,
Jeez. It's like I left you a Post-it or, or I sent you a text. Yeah.
Honestly, a Post-it's fine if that child would have said, "Mom, I'm going to the park with my friend."
Yeah,
That's
that would have been
okay.
okay because you knew where to find
But
him.
I need to know
Yeah.
that, like, that's a scary feeling when you come home and your kid's not there.
And you have no idea where they are.
That's a panic.
It's like, where do you even start?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. All right, what other questions do we have?
Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Why does Claudia cry when she sees Michelangelo's sketch of Angel at the end of the story?
I mean, I think it could be several reasons, but I think it's that thing we were talking about earlier where that feeling of fulfillment that she thought she was going to get.
Yeah.
She now is like, that's why all this has happened.
Well, and she thought he had done it the whole time. And it was like,
it validates her that she was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe also she was crying because that's the end.
True.
Because sometimes the fun is the not knowing and the waiting to figure it out. And then it's like, oh, okay, I was right, but now it's done.
Yeah.
The excitement's kind of gone now.
That's true. That's kind of like Christmas, the post-Christmas blues,
Yeah.
right?
That's a real thing.
I know.
That's
I feel it as an adult, let alone like when you're a kid. And I remember feeling that way as a kid.
I know. And packing up the Christmas stuff, the worst.
So sad. So fun to put it up. So not fun
it is
to
just
take it back down. Just the worst.
It takes me so long because I'm like, oh.
I know.
Although this year I didn't put out as much as I usually do because usually it's like Christmas crazy explosion. I only did one tree and I didn't unpack all my boxes. And I'm like, that was better. It was better because it still was just enough. Like, we still had our little Mickey train around our tree.
Oh,
still had our glitter things. But I usually, you guys, I've changed all our curtains. Like, it's crazy. I didn't do that this time. I was like, I'm not going through all that, especially because it was a little different this year because, we don't have any family here and my mom had died and like all the things. But I was like, actually, I'm doing that because then the putting up didn't take as long, which was great because then we could enjoy it for longer. And then the taking it down did not take as long.
Yeah. And I like to take it down, not the day after, but I like to have it down by New Year's because then it's even more sad later.
Oh, I know.
Because at least then I'm still like, okay, but I still have a few days off once it's all put away. Or like life's not crazy yet. Whereas like once everything's crazy again and you're trying to take it down and it's just like, oh, why is Christmas over? Like, yeah. So I have to get it up early and then take it down pretty close after Christmas. Okay.
Me too.
Any other good ones in there?
Let's see. Some of it is just kind of like so basic.
Okay. Well, all right. I have one for you.
Okay.
Of the two, are you more a Claudia or a Jamie, and why?
I think I'm both. I'm like Claudia with I am not trying to run away and sleep outside.
Fair.
Gross. Also, she made sure she found a fancy bed to sleep in. She figured that shit out. She figured out how to bathe. Totally would do that. I'm also with her on like, I would like to eat in the fancy restaurant with a fountain.
Especially in New York City. Come on.
But also, when I go to travel and stuff, I don't like having a schedule. I like it to be very different than my normal life that has to have a schedule. I'd rather just be like, let's just see where the day takes us. Especially when my kids were small and we would travel, I couldn't do that. It still had to be really scheduled and it was so stressful. Like, so I think I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah. So you're saying you're a little bit like Jamie in the realm of like, let's just see what happens and have fun no matter what.
Yeah. Although I don't cheat at anything, by the way.
No, you don't. You don't.
I do like to gamble though.
There you go.
I do.
So you're like him that way.
I do like to gamble.
I feel like I'm probably more Claudia in the way of like the romanticism of it.
Okay.
I remember as a kid always just really romanticizing the idea of being an adult. And maybe every kid does that, but like I just could not wait until, and I didn't necessarily want to like live in a museum or whatever, but like living in my own place and what that would look like. And I would make little sketches and like, all the things. Whereas,
and then you get there and it's like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
this isn't it.
This is not what I sketched when I was in third grade. Okay. Pull those out, please. Pull those sketches out. Dust them off. I don't know if I'm like Jamie at all, actually. I mean, I'm an easygoing person, I guess, but I don't know. I thought he was fun, but I didn't really relate to him very much.
I'm not fun, which is not true.
Look, I'm just telling you how it is, friends. It takes a lot to pull fun out of me.
Oh, stop.
It depends.
I will say this. I think it's that you are fun and you are down to have a good time, but you're not gonna be the initiator of the good like, if I said,
Oh, yeah.
"Katie, let's go to a museum after hours," you'd be like, "Alright, you'd come," but you would never suggest it.
Probably not.
See what I'm saying?
Now I do like to travel, so,
Yeah.
like, I like to, like, I'll initiate, like, going to a concert or
Yeah.
traveling somewhere
Yeah.
cool.
I meant,
I
like,
do
sneaky
like
fun.
that, but, like, yeah, but, like, other stuff, I'm like, "Eh."
Like, when we were going to the drag show, right?
Yeah.
I was weird, like, Katie did not initiate the dancing, but she as soon as I stood up, she stood up with
I
me,
stood
and
up
she said,
too.
"Let's go," because some people didn't.
So, yeah, you know? Yes, and I think even the drag show, I wasn't the one that suggested going, it was it
Sarah.
you? Oh, it was Sarah.
It was
Sarah.
because it had to do with dogs, so
And
it
then
did not come
that's
across
right,
my radar.
no, it wasn't you, and then we just all decided, yes, we were gonna participate.
See? So, it's okay.
I
You're
think I
willing
can
to have fun.
have fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you just need
I
to
think I'm
clarify
just
that for yourself.
I'm very, like, task-driven in general.
Well,
And that's just
you're
because
the
I have
oldest.
so many tasks always. I'm the oldest,
You're the firstborn. That's
lots
the
of
firstborn
children,
thing.
and own a business. So it's
Yeah.
like all the things that is like I need to I feel like, and I know this isn't true, but I feel like I either have to earn fun, and I can't have that fun till
Yeah.
all the things are done. But then as I get older, I'm like, all the things are never going to be done, so I
Right.
kind of just have to have fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Or that I almost feel guilty if I'm having fun, but like XYZ isn't done.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm like that to a point because my sister and I talk about this a lot. One of the things we think, like, our mom did a good job with parenting for the most part. She didn't do a lot of good things, but one thing that I think that she taught us that was not good was that you have to get everything done first
Mhm.
before you relax. Well, guess what, guys? Nothing is ever all the way done.
Never.
So we never I literally as an adult, my husband can tell you this. I had to undo a lot of stuff of he'd be like, "Let's watch a movie." I'm like, "Okay." But while we do that, I'm gonna fold laundry. And while we do that, he's like, "No, just sit down."
Yeah.
I'm fine with it now. I've gotten much better at it and being like, "Okay, I'm gonna stop." Like, I have to have a stopping point, which is tricky,
Mhm.
because that is exactly the narrative my mom and I think that was too in the '80s, that was the mindset of everyone, and
Of course.
and American culture is that way. Like,
Still.
you don't stop until you achieve all the things. Well, guess what? There's never it's just never
Never.
gonna happen. So
Never ever.
you have to have time, but again, it's a fine line because you have to have some kind of priorities to get shit done, but you can't do it
Totally.
always. And it's hard to turn that off, especially when you do own a business.
Yeah.
And it lies on your shoulders to make it work because, you're constantly thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, and I
it's
think
not a
whenever
9 to 5 business.
Right.
So
Right. I've gotten better at, like, if I see something come through, being like, "Well, I can do that later," as long as I take, like, a screenshot of it so I remember, which is, again, not my best system, but it helps me in that moment because then I'm like, "It's okay. I don't have to do it right now."
Yeah.
Because I've done the thing that I always do to make sure it gets done correctly later.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just don't answer it or don't open it or don't whatever, then I'm like, oh my God, but what is it? And like, what do I need to do? And oh my gosh, am I going to forget? So I think as long as you I'm okay. I'm a little better at compartmentalizing the tasks now to have fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And look, I won't say when, but my family's going to be out of town, I guess, for safety reasons. But I've ahead of time gotten everything lined up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be something here or there that, and also, I was going to tell you this anyway, like off air, but I'll tell all the readers, all the readers of this book who are listening to our podcast. How about that? Hello, dear readers.
Hello.
Okay. So the other day, so this is very not characteristic to how I try to do things, but it ended up okay. So this is a good example of how things are still going to be fine. So we had this huge event for my studio over the weekend. So all last week was just figuring that out, make sure we got everybody, we got all this stuff, got to pack, got to do all the things we're leaving. In the middle of that, I get a text from someone who we rent a venue from that was like, "Ooh, I'm so sorry. We double booked next week, which is this week, on Tuesday. And we booked the other person first, and I'm like, and we were having a summer camp there. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Like, we'll figure something out just for that day or that morning or whatever." And he's like, "I'm really sorry. Like, this is my fault." I'd completely forget about it. Completely forget about it.
What?
Go to do our thing at Disney, get home Monday night, camp start on Monday. Go off great. Tuesday morning,
Oh, shit.
camp started. All the parents have dropped off the children and are long gone. My camp director calls me. Hey, there's someone here saying XYZ.
Girl, no.
Immediate panic washes over me. And I am here, like I'm at my studio teaching. I'm in a different location and I have back to back students and no car with me. So I'm like, oh my God, this is my fault, blah, blah, blah. But this teacher's like, they had like 45 minutes left of that particular camp and then like a break before the next one. And she's like, well, I'll just take them like over to the park over there. Can you just like email the parents to pick them up there? We'll just like do the rest of our activities outside. She's like, we probably like, need to like get permission, but like, we'll just go. And I guess the people who came in were like super nice. They were from a school too. And they were like, and so our kids like helped them set up and stuff. And the parents picked them up there. And that was it. And the next day, everything was back to normal. But I felt really bad, obviously. But my teacher was just like, it was fine. The parents were chill. And the kids were like, can we do camp out here all the time? And she's like, and I said no, because it's hot.
Oh, it's really
but
hot.
like, she was just sort of like, meh. And I was like, I just cannot believe that.
My God.
But look, when I had to kind of take a moment, and the teacher said this to me. She goes, I can't even imagine trying to manage multiple venues and events and things. She's like, so like, it's fine. Don't even worry about it. But I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I can't believe I
So
did
that was what you texted me. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
She was like, I'll tell you later. Long story.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I was like having to call parents, email
Jesus
parents,
Christ.
like all the things.
Oh, what a
trying to
panic.
be sure, like, one, they didn't walk into the event that was happening there.
Jeez.
Right in the middle
Like,
of it. Like,
where
where's
is
my kid?
What is this?
And two, they like knew where their kids were because they weren't where we said they were going to be. So anyway, it was just, and then feeling bad for my teacher who was like just the most chill person ever and was like,
well, that's good.
it's fine.
That's good.
She's like, this is minor.
Listen, life happens.
But that was one where I was like, man, I should have just sat down. I should have just done the thing. And but it's like, we all have moments. And it was even more a sign from the universe that we need, as much as we love our community partners and we love them so, so much, honestly, we just got to be in our own spot.
Yeah.
And
got to
then
have one place.
The trick there will be not double booking that, but we'll make sure.
Well,
we'll get
that's easier.
We'll get some logistics in place
when you're the one doing the booking.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad all is well there.
That's what happened. So that's what I was dealing with when I didn't show up to your remote class. She called me 4 minutes before class started.
Well, thank God you weren't doing the class.
Yeah. I know. My phone would have been off to the side, but if I would have seen it was her, I probably would have answered.
Maybe
she doesn't
not,
normally
though. What
call.
if you wouldn't have heard it?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's fine. It didn't happen.
Anyway.
So, okay, moving on. So you think you're Claudia. I think I'm a mix of both. That's good. I was picturing, I was like, what if Katie and I tried to live in a museum? That'd be hilarious.
That'd be really fun.
I got too much products. I can't do it. I have too many things I have to do to my face.
You can be doing that in the fountain.
It's like, I was just thinking, like, traveling is always an adventure because I always have to pack. Like, I can never do not check a bag because of so much shit I have to bring with me. And like, to put that in small containers is bullshit. And I'm not doing that. It would take, it's too many. So I just check a bag everywhere I go, which annoys my husband because he could probably, but I live in a house with boys. They don't have products.
They don't get it.
Well, my boys don't have products.
Some do.
Some do, but mine don't. And I'm like, and Troy was like, because we're going to a wedding. And so we have to wear, it's like a semi-formal. So they are all three wearing suits. I still don't have it. I don't know what I'm wearing. It's the whole thing. But, and then we have rehearsal dinner. So we have to bring like nice clothes. And I said, oh my God, how do we pack suits? Like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, we'll put them in a garment bag, like a special garment bag and check it. Cause there's no way we can bring this on the plane. And he's like, I'm just wondering if like we should all share a suitcase. And I said, I ain't sharing no suitcase with nobody. If y'all need to share stuff,
go ahead.
Fine.
Figure it out.
I never need to share a suitcase with anybody. I have too much crap.
Anybody, yeah. I will say my girls throw stuff into my suitcase. Like when theirs is full. Yeah.
No, I don't share stuff.
But then I just use their stuff and they have better products than me.
But you have girls. I do not.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So
it kind of works out.
I can't use
or we decide the things we can share. But honestly, they all have a different shampoo.
Yeah.
They all have a different conditioner.
They
all wear different makeup.
See?
They all use different like skin products.
Yeah.
They use different sunscreen from each other.
Yep.
We had like 4 sunscreens when we went to Disney.
Well, we also have different sunscreens because I have one special one because I have skin problems, so I have one special one I have to use on my face, and then I have one I use on the rest of me,
Uh-huh.
and then Caden has, like, he can't stand cream sunscreen. He's such a
He likes the spray.
he likes to spray,
Yeah.
but the other 3 of us are so fair, we can only use spray for touch-up. We have
'Cause
to
yeah, spray is not as strong.
no.
No, he is a more olive skin than y'all.
I used to be like that when I was his age.
Okay.
I was so tan when I was a
Yeah,
kid,
he's pretty tan.
so that's where it comes from,
Okay.
but the older well, now I stay out of the sun
Well, yeah, you
because
don't want to,
I
and then when you are, you're more
yeah,
fair because you haven't been in the sun, which is
correct.
not a bad thing,
But,
but
like, I have lots of skin things, and, like, Troy had a big skin cancer cut out of his
yeah,
face, so we just don't
don't
play.
mess with that.
We don't play.
Don't
Kate,
mess with that.
let me read you some of these activities it suggests for kids to do.
Okay.
These are really fun. Um Chapter 4 contains a map of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Draw a map with at least 5 rooms of a museum you'd like to visit. The rooms can contain whatever you like. For example, Claudia and Jamie use a typewriter to write to the director of the museum. One room in your museum could contain a collection of writing instruments, from a quill pen that Marie Antoinette might have used to a computer. Other rooms could include a collection of baseball cards or footwear.
Okay.
So,
Why
what would you
not?
make if you could make
Hmm.
a museum and have 5 rooms you want to visit?
Yeah, I love that.
Or let's not say 5,
I
that's a
mean, it doesn't
whole
have to be
lot.
5, just
Think
something
of 1.
you'd want.
Think of 1 room
I mean,
you wanna
I like typewriters. I'm kind of, like,
too.
intrigued by typewriters. I have a really old one from my aunt, so, that writing idea was fun, like, the different quills. I don't need a computer in there. What do I need to look at a computer for when
You
they're
do
right
it
in
all
front of
the
me? I
time,
want,
yeah.
like, the older stuff that we don't use anymore. I would say probably something like old instruments would be really cool too.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be
Like some
fun.
of like first, violins or even instruments we don't use anymore. And I know those types of things do exist in some museums,
Yeah.
but I think that'd be really, really cool.
Okay, love
What
that.
about you?
Mine is so opposite,
Let's hear.
because you know what my favorite thing at museums is? Is, like, pop culture stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I love getting to see, like, how clothing evolved. Like, at one of the Smithsonian's, they have, like, first lady outfits.
Cute.
Obsessed.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Also, costumes. I love costumes. Like, when my friend Amber and I went to Asheville, we went to the Biltmore, and the Downton Abbey had a traveling exhibit that was there, and
Cool.
they had all their like, a bunch of costumes from that. I love, too, seeing, like, the evolution of film
Mhm.
and, like, how that has changed. So mine would be something like, I don't know, something with pop culture and outfits,
I
like,
love
or
that.
even, like, fun, like, fashion trends of decades,
That'd be cool.
where you can see that. Somewhere I went had, like, kids entertainment. I can't remember what museum. So there was, like, the Muppets, and they had, like, all the things. So mine would be something like that, because I just
Something
think it's
pop
really fun.
culture.
And
Yeah.
I love costumes, and, like, I'm not like I'm not like a fashionista. I like more of, like, campy, costumey things, not like
Yeah. Not
fashion. Does
every
that
day,
make
so
sense?
much. It does, yeah. I you would have hated it, but I went to the American Museum of Country Music when I was in Nashville a couple years ago, and those were the things I really liked. They had, like, a pair of Dolly Parton's, like, rhinestone
Oh,
boots.
yeah, that's fun. I would
And
like
then
that.
they had Shania Twain's, like, leopard outfit.
Cute.
First of all, it looked like it was for a toddler.
Oh, yeah, she's
She
so
is
small.
so small.
Yeah.
It was, like, suspended and, like, like, hanging in a box, and I was like, "Oh, this is, like, a model of it?" It was like, "No, this is literally what she wore."
But also, wasn't it, like, super stretchy?
It was.
So
But it's still kinda
I
was
know,
like,
she's
"What?"
still small.
But and they also had, like, certain singers' guitars
Yeah.
and, like, their different instruments and, like, a Jerry Lee Lewis exhibit and stuff. So it was really I know, but that era of music, like, there was a lot of, like, cool, I don't know, mementos, including, like, Buddy Holly type stuff, Johnny Cash stuff, which
yeah.
I thought was really fun. So,
That's fun stuff.
yeah,
I love
I
that.
enjoyed that.
I remember when I looked at the first lady dresses, I was so surprised at how short some of them were.
Mhm.
Like, especially, like, older, like,
Right.
from long time ago. I'm
Yes.
trying to remember if it was, like, Abe Lincoln's wife.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Damn, she was tiny," but people used to be smaller, which is weird.
Kinda weird, yeah.
I know. Like,
We're evolving taller. I guess.
Well, some of us.
As a species
Some
in
genes.
general.
Must be nice to
Yeah.
be genetically gifted.
Must be nice to be at the head
But
of that
anyway.
evolutionary curve. Okay. Well, just saying.
All right.
All right. Well,
As she brushes her shoulders off.
there we go. My very tall shoulders. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for
One last.
reading. I'm done. I'm out of them.
Oh, wait, before we go,
What?
our
Oh.
July 3rd event is on. We
It's
mentioned
on.
last week we weren't sure if we are going to have to reschedule. Nope. We good. It's happening.
It's happening. I need to look up the ticket list, but I honestly think there's maybe 10 left.
Ooh, if y'all want to come, y'all better sign up.
Sign up July 3rd. So if you're in town anyway, come. It's going to be really, really fun.
And don't go reserve a ticket if you can't come because other people may want to come.
That's the only thing about free events.
I know.
Because sometimes people will reserve it for free and then just not come because they're not like losing money. I mean, it's basic
tell you what.
psychology.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you sign up for a ticket to our event and you do not come and you waste a seat that somebody else could have, I'm going to blast you on an episode.
Uh-oh. Now,
I'm going to have a list.
if for some reason you realize you can't make it, just let us know.
Oh, yeah.
We'll reissue that ticket. We won't be mad about that.
No.
It's if we think you're coming, you don't come, and we told someone else they couldn't come. Right. So
Don't do that.
just let us know. But
No.
also come to our event.
But also come.
Don't
It's going
do
to be fun.
something else.
We're going to record live. I don't know how that's going to go.
It's gonna be
I just realized we were like, oh, we'll
messy.
we have to bring all this stuff.
It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be fine though.
And where there's gonna be wires everywhere on that stage, and people are gonna be like, wow, this is what happens.
Yeah.
But
That's okay.
that's a peek
They're
into
gonna
the magic.
we'll be behind all the wires and watch your step. We're gonna have to say to people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll figure it out.
It's gonna be
But
fine.
so we hope to see you there, and we hope to see you soon on another episode of Generation in Between Xennial Girl Summer.
What
I
was
think
yours?
I meowed. Did I meow? I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys. And we'll
Okay.
see you sometime soon.
Yep.
All right. Bye.